Hello, my dear friends and respected teachers. Today I'm going to take you through a small presentation of how cloud computing is merged in forensic investigations. This is going to give you a small tinge flavor on how cloud technology has improved. The last few decades have witnessed several notable step changes which have shaped future practices in upcoming computing and IT. So cloud computing is tipped as the next notable step change which potentially may change the way in which organizations realize their computing and IT needs. So, computer forensics has emerged as a discipline to assist law enforcement agencies in addressing the increasing use of digital storage devices in the criminal acts, both traditional and high tech. So, my research question is about how infrastructure as a service in cloud computing is playing a vital role in forensic field. Cloud computing is a relatively new concept that offers the potential to deliver scalable elastic services to many. The notion of pay per use is attracting more and more people, and hence utilization of cloud computing is increasing day to day with the dense population. Through these increasing use of computing and digital storage devices, it also led to certain criminal acts, both traditional and high tech, and hence computer forensic was introduced. Computer forensics has developed in terms of procedures, practices, and tool support to serve the law enforcement community, and also give a good clarity on a clear view on cyber crimes and cloud related cyber crimes. So the digital forensic readiness is a very active research field that attracted many researchers. It also combines forensic expertise, hardware and software engineering. So it comprehends a remote and central logging facility for accelerating the acquisition of data. The model was also prototyped for Windows platforms. So by introducing the cloud computing into forensic field, it has given more access to contents and clarity on cyber or cloud crimes using infrastructure as a service. As we know, cloud computing has provides us three services. One is software and platform and infrastructure. But my thesis paper is mainly concentrating on infrastructure as a service. So characteristics of infrastructure as a service. Resources are distributed as a service, allows of dynamic scaling, variable cost, utility price modeling, and it also includes multiple users on a single piece of hardware. And forensic investigators have also included special features for the cloud infrastructure like layers of trust, motivation, and layers of trust. So before evaluating tools for acquisition, it is important to understand trust in the cloud environment. So the trust bond lays between the forensic people, the client who is open to the cybercrime, and the cloud computing platform provider. Unfortunately, acquisition at this layer requires trust that the guest operating system, hypervisor, host operating system, underlying hardware, and network produce complete and accurate evidence free from intentional and accidental tampering, compromise, or error. So the investigator could collect evidence contained inside the virtual machine and install a forensic tool and obtain live evidence remotely and suspend or terminate the VM and analyze it offline. So it gives the investigators an online analyzing and offline analyzing methods. So, layers of trust. As a risk mitigation strategy, the forensic examiner should examine evidence at multiple layers. So, this technique allows an investigator to check for inconsistency, to correlate evidence, arranging individual contexts together into group. Is a basic concept from archaeology known as stratigraphic interpretation. So, by doing this interpretation, as per the Garfinkel in 2006 proposed a related technique for examining multiple drives to correlate evidence across seemingly unrelated evidence, such as for identifying members on social networks. So by extending this idea, identify suspicious activity at one layer of the cloud and incorporating forensic hypothesis. So this gives a little bit of clarity where the information getting is leaked and where the cybercrime has took place. As I mentioned, there are three different layers. Layer 1 is network, layer 2 is physical hardware, and layer 3 is host operating system. So for each data type, the data must be adhered to strict chain of custody and must include a mechanism for integrity checking. So the forensic investigators will choose one of the layer and start performing the forensic method of research. So, as we have seen through this section, computer forensic is a rapidly increasing important discipline which has come about and flourished due to the abundance of computing devices and indeed utilizations and the crimes, both conventional and high tech. So, for a computer forensic point of view, several authors have assessed the advantages and disadvantages of virtual machine in relation to computer forensics investigation. The main benefit of cloud computing is centralized data, having the data in all in the same place, assist in forensic readiness, which leads to quicker, coordinated response to the incidents. And the methods. I'm going to use several methods like a personal interview, questionnaire in forensic cloud lab, and questioning retired forensic people, analyzing the work through a sample example, and discussing with the managing cloud people. This gives me an in-depth detail about how cloud computing is supporting digital forensic people and how the cyber crimes are taking place on the cloud, especially on the infrastructure as a service. At the same time, how IaaS is supporting to stop the crimes. So the research is mainly based on the infrastructure as a service is utilized in forensic laboratories, and the main focus of the thesis is how the security breaches occur and are notified to the crime branch by cloud computing infrastructure as a platform. The primary approach will be conducted by personal interview with the current officers, followed by questionnaires, and finally with a sample approach to an example. So research strategy. So in this research strategy, we are going to analyze through the IaaS, in that image mounting, what sort of images they have used, and VM configuration, what is the virtual machine configuration and virtual machine application. Apart from that, as an infrastructure layer of security, we'll be going through cloud groups who are using it, and what sort of disk storage, and what is the operating system, and what is the virtual machine capacity, or for how many years the agreement is signed, what sort of data are stored on the cloud, and many more, etc. So my research choice will be multi-method. It compromises of qualitative and quantitative approach. It also includes technology support and laws. So the sampling test will be done in the Ireland's Cloud Forensic Crime Branch. As the world is aware about the Dublin's Cloud Hub, it is also more open to cyber crimes. So the sampling case will be done from the Dublin. Qualitative data, as per the data collection, the qualitative data will consist of personal interviews focusing on secondary data and conducting in-depth interviews for more clarity, probably 3 to 4. And quantitative will be conducting surveys online, questioning from questionnaires in the branch, and by interviewing the companies or SMEs open to cyber cloud crime like Sony, etc. Probably I won't be considering the Sony, but a smaller SMEs will be considered. So by collecting the data from qualitative analysis, quantitative secondary, and will be analyzed with the primary research, and will be compared with other critics and authors. Through this comparison, the clarity on the utilization of platform will be discussed. And research limitations. So in this research thesis, I'm going to cover only the management part of the forensic, and the analyzation of technical skills will be